Last episode, we kicked off our first season back in Division 2 with a string of poor results, and now we look to keep our heads up and fight for survival this time around. Hey, what's going on, guys? Respect the Jeff, and I am back with another episode in this Schalke career. Well, last episode didn't necessarily go according to plan, so we'll have to turn things around this time out. We're sitting in 13th place right now, only a couple points off a relegation spot, but very early days in the season here, and we know that we have a long fight ahead of us this season to make sure that we stay up. We're coming under fire in the meantime, though. A lot of press coverage about Schalke's form at the moment. Those opening 5 matches, definitely not ideal by any stretch, so why not? We're going to throw everything we got at this. Offense has been our problem. We're not scoring enough goals, and taking the step up to this new league, we can't rely on defense like we did last year. We're going with the 3-5-2. Let's see if we can't get the most out of it. But speaking of our defensive assets, Shaw has come under a lot of press coverage as well recently. A lot of top German clubs have been in for him after his potential shot up, having a great season last year, so that's something to keep an eye out for. But he's our player for the meantime, and one of our star players for that matter. So we go with our new formation here. Let's see how it works out. Let's get to the games. Alright, here we go straight into the action. This episode is going to be action-packed, plenty of games, so buckle up because it's going to be a crazy one. Like I said, we're trying a new formation here, and the philosophy is just going to be to outscore our opponents. We're definitely going to give up more chances playing 3 at the back. It's a little bit of a risk, but I think it's a risk that we need to take because we just don't look like scoring goals, and even playing 4 at the back in this kind of league isn't necessarily going to secure us clean sheets like it did last season. So it's a calculated risk, but it's one we're willing to take. So let's see how the team can stand up to the challenge here. Bujaleb charging through midfield, Chandan brought down, and we're starting to see the best out of our offense here. Fabian, new signing. Hopefully he steps up to the challenge because we're going to have to rely on experience a lot. And how about that? Slams it in. Wonderful free kick. What a start to the season he's having. Far and away our best player so far. He has been absolutely on fire, scoring goals for fun. I honestly didn't think signing him, I mean, he was our 3rd or 4th choice signing for winger. I didn't think he'd come in and make this big of an impact, but I'm sure happy he is. We just gotta make sure that we can continue pushing forwards and not concede too many at the back. But unfortunately for us, a little bit of inexperience with a player who's honestly usually very reliable. Malik Chaw with a huge mistake there in the back line, takes a poor touch straight into the feet of the striker. It's in the back of the net. Super uncharacteristic from him. You don't see that too often. Egal Brook now getting forwards, and can we find ourselves in front again? Yes, how about that? We're up and running. This is exactly the kind of game plan I had in mind. If we just outscore opponents, maybe we can sneak ourselves through to some wins here. And it's the captain, Chandan, who's stepping up to the challenge up top. Honestly, all of our experienced players are really leading the team through this period. Chandan, Fabian, all the ons in the team, I guess. Hopefully we can see the best of Jefferson Farfan as well, who on the right wing just has never really stepped up to what we know he can do. But speak of that, here he comes, involved in the play. Farfan, well, directly answers my question there. Slams that one into the top corner. What a finish. Schalke up 3-1 at this point. This is the side of the team we really haven't seen yet in this career, bombing forwards and really taking the liberty to attack. We just got to make sure that things don't come back too harsh in our direction. And again, we concede. And again, it's kind of Malik Chaw at the center of it. I mean, we can't totally place the opportunity down to him, but that should have been a clearance. Now, I don't know if the center back's mind is just elsewhere with the transfer rumors. Maybe he wants out, but he's a crucial player in our back line, and we need him at least for this season if we want any hope at staying up, really. One of our crucial players, like I've been saying. And again, Chaw with a mistake in front of goal, and it's in. What is happening here with our back line? Malik Chaw with an absolute shocker. More or less directly responsible for all 3 goals there, and just like that, we blow a lead that we really should have held on to. I mean, I guess it's partially the risk we run playing 3 at the back, but I mean, those are just individual errors. A really shocking game from who's usually a star in our team, and again, Chaw lets his man go top of the box. Surely not a 4th. Well, Himmelman called into action here. With only a couple minutes left, we gotta make sure we don't even go on to lose this. How crazy would that be? Header down at goal. Himmelman grabs it again. 86 minutes gone, and eventually the time runs out. 3-3, we settle for a point after really what looked like a strong start from the team. Disappointing from a player who's usually great in our back line, and hopefully it's just a one-off. So we keep our heads up, and now we look forward to the next game. Alright, well, straight back into action, no time to waste. We take on Hamburger SV. We tried switching things up just a little bit here. With 7 games played, they are second in the league, and we find ourselves down in 15th. Just barely hanging on above the relegation zone, so we gotta quickly turn things around and show what we can do here. Notable squad updates for this one. I rested Malik Shaw. He's on the bench for this one. Maybe he just needs to clear his head. That was a shocking performance in the last game. And although we definitely do want to rely on him, I mean, this isn't anything permanent by any stretch. I've given the chance to young center back Aliou, who we saw a lot from last season, and honestly, so far in this game, he looks really solid. The notable player out there on the right-hand side, Bakary Jata, is definitely the main threat for the opposition. They gave the ball to him time and time again, and fortunately enough, Aliou was able more or less to cover him and shot down with a great strike from distance. It's just a matter of Schalke trying to find a goal of our own here. It's been a really tough-fought game so far, a couple half chances for both teams, but more or less in a deadlock, which honestly kind of favors us. We're also looking to find out what our best strike partnership is at this time. Kutuju gets the start up top over Brook. Chandan more or less has that spot nailed down, being the captain, but between the three of them, we have yet to figure out which of the two pair up the best. Obviously, Brook and Kutuju sort of rotating in and out. Neither one of them super impressive as of yet, but there's plenty of season left for us to find it out. So we go into halftime, 0 shots conceded. So things are looking great for us. We've totally kept this game under control, and it's really just a matter of keeping that up in the second half. Kutuju, really, despite not being too successful in front of goal, his work rate is great as always, wins the ball back, and Shandan, same thing for him, charging in on goal, and this really should have been converted, but eventually it is saved by the center back. Just poor finishing in front of goal, but it's not for a lack of effort, that's for sure. The team giving it their all. Jata again proving himself to be a huge threat, putting some balls in here in the second half, and eventually a ball played in behind and right across the face of goal finds its way into the back of our net, and we eventually do concede. I think that was maybe their first shot on target all game. It doesn't really matter for us though, because now we find ourselves a goal down. Desperate to change things, it's our two youngsters, Igal Brook and Sidi Sane, coming on. Both yet to really make a huge impact this season, but a lot of potential on the two of them. And can they find some sort of way to sneak things in this game? We just need our chances at this point with time winding down. Another dangerous effort from Jata saved there. Ball still in play though. We got a lot to worry about here. The opposition continuing to work it around comfortably. Eventually Hawkins does away with that, and this is definitely our final chance of the game. Whistle maybe gonna blow, but Igal Brook, the substitute, is clean through. Surely not one-on-one with the keeper, and he finishes. Igal Brook. Well, I was just talking about the strikers, and it looks like we have someone willing to step up and score goals. Some fresh legs on late in the game. We know what he can do with his pace, and the young striker maybe starting to prove himself at this level. Obviously, he was fantastic last season. We just have to see more from him this year, but this is a great start. Kutuju with the assist there too. The two of these players linking up very, very well. So we salvage another point. The last tie a little disappointing. This one maybe a little flattering, so we'll take our 2 points among these two games. We keep our heads up again, and now we move on. All right, into action again, and the top of the table clashes continue to go. We just took on second place Hamburg, who have slid down after that, and now we take on third place Firth. We stick with the same back line as last time. Chaw is still on the bench. I thought we looked okay, and really Aliou, who didn't have too much of a look in before this, played excellent, and just based on form alone, I can't really justify benching him just to bring Chaw back, so we'll stick with the lineup that we have here, but we concede anyways as I talk about how good our defense looked. Maybe not the best marking there. Hawkins definitely caught out just a little bit. Fair enough to the opposition, some good play, really moving the ball around fast, and we find ourselves a goal behind just like that. Now, a player that I've really been looking to step up for a while, like I was saying a little bit earlier, Jefferson Farfan is definitely starting to do that, using his pace effectively for a change, getting in behind, and again, a really tidy finish at the end of the move. No saving that from the goalkeeper. You'll love to see it, and we equal things back up on the scoreline. Aliou really standing out in the back line again, keeping chances to a minimum, marking his man. He's been kind of a breakout star so far in these last two games. We'll see if he can hold that kind of consistency, but the team playing well. Marco Fabian, another shot from distance, really tests the goalkeeper, and it's starting to open up and be a really competitive match, but again, maybe spoke too soon. We concede again, the back line just not marking effectively, and now we find ourselves down 2-1 coming into the second half. Marco Fabian picks out Jefferson Farfan, who again exposes the space, saved by the goalkeeper, and that was really close to a second goal from our right winger. Fabian coming off for the fresh legs of Igal Brook with 30 minutes left. Can he step up to the challenge again? Well, Igal Brook playing through Farfan, who again uses his pace really well, and this time he finishes again. 2 goals goals to level things back up. Schalke 2, Firth 2. We're showing what we can do against some of the top teams in the league here. Really lovely stuff. And this could be anyone's game at this point. Oh, to the back post though, and we concede a third. Well, this is the trade-off I was talking about. We're risking offense for defense, and we are paying the price for it. Another goal conceded, and we might go on to lose here. Egal Brook, though, looking to do something about that, and Philip Oakes coming on, left midfielder, and he has a shot saved by the goalkeeper. Definitely last chance of the game here off of the corner kick, and we're hoping for a miracle at this point, and it's headed down at goal, and it's wide. Well, we blow our chances there to salvage another point from a third consecutive game. We do suffer a defeat, but some good talking points there. Some things to look forward to from this team, and not too bad all in all, so we move on. All right, well, the aftermath of the game turned out to be very dramatic. Fabian lost it completely after being subbed off at the 60th minute for Brook, and then he comes directly to us to complain about it as well. And I mean, fair play to him for being confident in himself and believing in his ability to make a difference, but it comes down to us, and he absolutely embarrassed us coming off as a substitute and making a real stink on the pitch. So we got to come down a little bit and discipline him. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen here, but he's definitely on the bench for this upcoming game. We can't have that kind of behavior. It's all about the team right now. No player is above that, so Bozdogan gets the chance at attacking mid. Unfortunately for us, probably our best player for this season is sitting on the bench for now. We'll see kind of how this progresses and what his attitude looks like going forwards, but it's a choice we have to make here. On the bright side, I think Chaw, maybe after being rested for a game or two, is ready to give another shot here at center back. Maybe his head's in a better place. Aliou deserves that spot at right back. I think he's earned it as well. So we're sitting in 15th, and we need a change of pace here, and let's get to it. All right, back into action here, and it's not going to be an easy one. We take on Hanover 96 here, and the top goal scorer in the league is lining up for them up top, so we got a lot to look out for, especially with our defense leaking goals as of late, and hopefully we can stand up to the challenge here. You know, Fabian on the bench for this one. We'll see how that progresses. Chaw on the bright side back into the starting 11, and hopefully he can show us that he's learned a little bit, maybe gotten his head in a better spot for this one. We know what he can do. Obviously, he's an absolute world-class prospect. He showed that all of last season. It's just a matter of really keeping his confidence high. And unfortunately for us, some huge missed chances here early in the game, namely from Jefferson Farfan there directly in front of goal, makes a mess of it. But we are not giving up by any stretch here. Chandon has a pop from distance, not too far wide, and we're just looking to see a little more from our offense. A lot of chances, nothing to show for it yet, but eventually Bozdogan slides in Egal Brook, who after scoring a couple late appearances here is given the start in this one, and he is living up to it. Egal Brook scoring goal after goal again this season. I know I said early on in the season I didn't want to put too much pressure on him, but if he's starting to live up to it, I don't see why he can't be starting games. Unfortunately for us though, this is going to be the thing we have to fight against with our formation. We concede again, so it's a matter of us trying to find another goal here. Egal Brook linking up Bozdogan. Oh, how about that? Well, the two youngsters linking up, two of our most promising youngsters for that matter. Bozdogan obviously pushed a little deeper this year with Fabian sort of securing that attacking mid spot, but this is exactly what he can do. Another player who, kind of like Chaw, is being chased by some top teams. I don't know how long we'll be able to hold on to him rather realistically, but we will obviously for as long as we can. He's one of our most important players here. Malik Chaw, a little nervous at the back again. Fortunately for us, it works out this time, but we just got to find a way to get his confidence back because we need him really firing on all cylinders if we want to see this team hanging on to results this season, because it's going to be difficult with the kind of lineup we have here. Bozdogan again waiting for a run through, and he plays through Kutuju this time, who cuts it back. Bozdogan heads it over. Been very, very impressive, the young central attacking midfielder. And we hang on here, 2-1, our first win in a long time. I think we had one other this season, so it's really good to see from the team shaking it up a little bit. I mean, obviously Fabian's been important for us, but if we can do it without him, I mean, we don't need that kind of attitude in the squad. So lovely stuff from the team here. We hang on for a huge result, and hopefully this is the turning point for us. Egal Brook shows what he can do. All right, well, no time to waste. We're back into action again, this time against SV Sandhausen. We just stuck with the same lineup as last game. I mean, it worked out well for us, so why not? I mean, Aliou really establishing himself in the back line. Brook and Bozdogan able to link up once again. They're given the chance. Obviously, they did really well between the two of them last season. Fabian is on the bench again, and we'll see again how things work out there. I mean, for the time being, the team will progress without him. Bujale with a shot from distance and looking to find some kind of shot off there. It's Igal Brook. Not too eventful of a game, really, but coming into the second half here, it's the reverse of what we saw last game. Igal Brook giving the ball to Bozdogan, and the two of them are flying high. Maybe they just needed this opportunity, really, to take their chance and start scoring goals, but it's coming off for us brilliantly. Igal Brook, a little more of a natural goal scorer, but if he can grab some assists like that for us, why not? Chance here for Sidi Sane coming off the bench with some of our other youngsters finding their footing. He's kind of the exception. He's the player that I thought going into this career would be the most promising and really have the brightest future here, but he has yet to find that opportunity. But we got bigger problems on our hands here. Malik Chaw, again the center of attention with a huge mistake in the back line, deflected off his foot into the back of the net. He's trying his best. I just don't know what's going on with our star center back. Nothing Himmelman could do about that kind of short distance on it. So some substitutes coming on here. Let's give Fabian another chance. I mean, we'll have to see. I don't really want his kind of attitude in the squad, but we definitely need something to break the deadlock here, and he's the kind of creative force that we could rely on. But fortunately for us, it doesn't really come to that, as Igal Brook scores another late goal in the 89th minute, all on his own. Really great footwork and a great finish in the box. This guy is really starting to take the step up to the next level in front of our very eyes. I mean, we all know it. He's got a high potential on him, but he's already starting to reach it at a really crucial point in the season. So it's another win and a really big one for the team. This means so much. Every point is going to count this season. And as we look to build and just find out a formation and system and players that work for us, we just need to make sure we stay afloat. So as long as we can get some wins like this and start to develop some of our youngsters like Brook and Sane, I think it's going to be a successful season. So a huge 3 points, and we move on. All right, back into action again, and Bozdogan starting again. Marco Fabian still on the bench. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've been seeing results with the lineup we got. So, Abner Aliou as a center back in the back line. Bozdogan as our attacking midfielder. I think we're starting to find some players who are really making an impact here. And Sidi Sane, like I was just talking about, is given the start this time around. He's mostly been a sub this season, but it's time to give him some chances, especially against teams that maybe aren't top of the tier in the league here. Sidi Sane, though, given a really rough treatment, a couple of really harsh tackles coming in. He carries on despite the injury, but again, time and time again, is knocked off the ball. He doesn't let it slow him down, but he does have to fight through the injury here, and unfortunately, that's just the kind of game it's going to be, and a header finds its way into the back of the net. Heartbreaking for Schalke, who really have started this game bright, but we just couldn't find our way through. Santos, who's taking a huge step up, this striker, despite not playing for one of the better teams in the league, has scored a ton of goals this month, and this proves to be no exception. Nothing Himmelman could do about that. Sidi Sane with the ball. Chandan moving it around. Bozdogan waiting for space. Farfan in the box. Chips it back across the face of goal, and that is a lovely goal for Schalke, and the captain, Chandan, is on the end of it to finish. He's picking up a fair few goals this season and has been a pretty consistent force for us up top. I mean, it's what we've seen since last season. He's just the kind of player that we can rely on. Aliou doing really well to win the ball back there, but unfortunately the high press keeps it, and Wolvesy in the box looking for some sort of way through, again defended by Chaw, twisting and turning, and somehow it's a huge mistake by the entire back line, and really, I mean, comes down to Himmelman. That's got to be on the goalkeeper. I don't know how that ended up in the back of the net. Malik Chaw not doing well enough to close it down, and Himmelman, that is a howler. Dives way too early. Don't know what he was thinking there, but we find ourselves a goal down at Bujale. That should have been a goal. Misses a huge chance, and with not a lot of time left, you got to think that that's probably our last opportunity of the game, and eventually it turns out to be. We suffer a defeat in a game that I really thought we should have won. We were probably the dominant force, but again, mistakes by the back line are plaguing us. Chaw just looks a shadow of his former self. Himmelman, nothing like he was last season, and it was a great goal, a great header there from Santos, who I'm starting to keep my eye on this season. A team that's struggling and can maybe pry away from, especially with Kutuju not firing. That's one to watch out for. All right, well, Sidi Sane, after a couple rough challenges there, has hyperextended his knee. He'll be out for 4 weeks, and that is honestly a pretty big blow as I was trying to slowly integrate him more in the side. You can take a look at the player of the month shortlist. I was just talking about Santos. You can see him here on the left. He's starting to gather a little bit of attention, and like I said, the 33-year-old, after playing for a team that's really struggling this season, if it looks like they're in threat of going down maybe in the next season or two, he could be someone we pick up as a depth signing up top. Just something to think about, though. Obviously, nothing surefire, but I mean, we might need it. We have Chandon and Brook up top, like you could see in those stats, but Kutuju just not stepping up to the challenge. He's a player I like more or less, but 71 overall and a young player. He's not the kind of player who's going to want to be sitting on the bench game after game if he's not one of our first choice players, so we might be looking for options going forwards. And after being on the bench for 3 games in a row now, Marco Fabian comes back to us, and he really doesn't want to be on the bench for this one. He still thinks he's in good form and can help out the team. I'm going to think about it. But, I mean, nothing is for sure, so why not? We'll give him the shot. Maybe it was a mistake. We've seen the best from him earlier in the season, and if this kind of attitude keeps up, obviously, he'll be relegated to not only the bench, but the reserves straight out, so we'll see what happens there. Another notable change here, Oaks is given the chance at left mid. After not seeing too much from Bujaleb over the last couple games, let's see if Fabian can kind of have a response out there and step back up and show what he can do with a bit of maturity. Let's get to it. All right, here we go. Well, a change in both of the players who suffered exile this season for short periods of time. Chaw and Fabian are back in the starting 11, and hopefully we can start to see a response from both of them because they're not going to play on anything other than merit. And there you have it, Marco Fabian, an answer right away 4 minutes into the match, scores a goal, and hopefully this is the turning point from him. Hopefully it was kind of a one-off thing. Maybe he learned his lesson being on the bench for a few games, and he is back and he is in top form. A little bit of a shame because Bozdogan was really thriving at attacking mid, but he still starts Bozdogan in a slightly further back role in that central midfield spot, and Marco Fabian does really well there to not only hold his man off and fight through some tough challenges, but pick out the pass. He's been the star of the show so far. Theo Jaggi wins the ball back, and he keeps going. Theo Jaggi, surely not. Oh, how about that? Slams it into the roof of the net, and we have found our second in some kind of fashion there. Theo Jaggi, not the kind of offensive force that we see too often charging forwards, but he is a real freight train of a player when he gets going, and he was able to do just that and bully his way through. Marco Fabian sneaking it through again, and Brook uses his pace really well. Oh, what a finish! Schalke are on fire here. Wearing our third kit for, I think, the first time this season. You love to see it in the lime green. Igal Brook still scoring goals, and another assist there from Marco Fabian. Oh, he's going to do it again. Chandon, oh, it's a fourth. Marco Fabian sneaks through the perfect pass. Really well weighted for our striker, and Chandon scores another goal for him. Well, it might just turn out to be our best decision to handle Marco Fabian the way we did. He's come back in even better form than he left off, and he's really running the show out there. Fabian sneaks through Çalhanoğlu, the substitute, who we've barely seen anything from this season. Lovely cross. Oh my God, it's in the back of the net. Jefferson Farfan, it is 5 with not even 60 minutes played. Well, this has been not only the best performance of the season, but the entire career so far. 5-0, everyone is chipping in here, and you gotta say it's just some sort of spark that's been lit under this team. I think the man management hopefully has been well done this episode. We eventually do concede there with a bit of poor defending. Evan Rotundo, the young substitute coming on, couldn't quite get there with the challenge. So we see the game out 5-1, and although we do blow the clean sheet, that is a huge statement victory from the team. Everyone chipping in. I think the formation may be starting to pay off at this point. We looked a lot better defensively. Hopefully Chaw has shaken off those mistakes that he had earlier in the episode after coming under a little bit of criticism, but we love to see it, and we move on. All right, well, it's been a crazy run of results here. Philip Oaks is happy to be integrated as our winger, and he played really well. I mean, with Bujaleb maybe not playing the best, we do like to see it. Marco Fabian obviously back to top form here, and hopefully this is it for him. I don't want to see any more drama from our new signing, so he'll be back in the starting 11 until further notice. Hopefully no more temper tantrums, and hopefully he learned his lesson. So, like I said, Fabian back in the starting 11. I think Oaks deserves a spot too. Bujaleb still a very promising player for us, but we're just going to stick with what's working. It's all merit-based at this point, so we stick with the 3-5-2, and hopefully we'll grab another win here. All right, here we go. Final game of the episode, and hopefully another win for the team. We could really use it. Shandon finding Marco Huger, who looks to chip it up. Huger in and out of the squad, but especially with Fabian starting recently, he's solidified himself a bit as our defensive midfielder. He just looks really, really solid back there, and honestly, between him and Jaggy, I think it's helping out our defense a lot. Unfortunately, though, that does mean Bozdogan is given the slip there and is on the bench, which is a bit of a shame, especially with him being one of our more promising and really impactful players, but we just have to do what's working for the team at the moment. And with Bozdogan really having an eye on getting himself a bigger transfer deal in the next couple seasons, we might even be looking to offload the player. But obviously, speaking a little too soon here, we just got to make sure we get results in our games before we worry about anything in the market. And the high press of Nuremberg is really catching us out time and time again. You can see in these highlights we are struggling big time. Schaffler in the box, saved by Himmelman. That's better from the goalkeeper. We're clinging on to this one. 36 minutes in, we've barely had a sniff in their half. Meanwhile, they have won the ball back and charged forwards plenty into ours. Shandon, Marco Fabian, perfectly weighted pass to find Philip Oakes, who's coming forwards now. Can he just have a go himself? Oh my God, Philip Oakes, take a bow, son. What a hit into the top corner. I don't know if the team has just had some finishing lessons off the pitch or what, but our players are cannoning in shots the last couple games, and Philip Oakes, who's finally given the start in this match after really impressing next, is stepping up to the challenge once again. That is an absolutely miraculous shot. You love to see it. Philip Oakes not only doing the offensive work, but the defensive. He's more of a left back by trade, but his skill set is diverse enough he could play either, which makes him really a perfect fit for this wing-back role, and I think it's his to lose at this point. Nuremberg with a couple other opportunities coming back in our direction. We're hanging on to a slightly more narrow lead than we're used to, or a narrow scoreline, really. Only one goal so far. Igelbrück coming off in favor of Kutuju, who's still in the running. I think our preferred starting two now are Chandon and Brook after seeing what they can do, but that doesn't mean Kutuju's out of it. We're still going to give him plenty of minutes this season. Marco Huger winning the ball back. Kutuju lays it off. Chandon can't get there. Might have been offsides anyways, and he was. Kutuju's still fighting hard to show what he can do up top. We just have to see more from him because it's not quite come off yet. But more importantly, the team wins. 92 minutes gone, 3 big points. And that is much more like it from the team. You love to see it. I think we're finally starting to find our footing. It took a lot of drama, tinkering with tactics, and some behind-the-scenes nonsense going on, but hopefully this is it and we can start to relax just a little bit with the results starting to fall into place. Lovely from everyone again, the depth really coming through on this one, and now we move on. Alright, so there you have it. With a couple good results in a row, just like that, it was enough to carry us from relegation territory back up into 8th place. Still early days in the season, and we really could swing either direction. I mean, to talk about a real crazy outcome, if we could go on a run of results, promotion isn't that far off, but I'm not going to jinx us here. We'll see how things go. Obviously, relegation isn't that far off either. Taking a look at the calendar, next episode's going to be a huge one. We're going to hit January, play through a bunch of these games, and with a lot of speculation around a lot of players right now, it's going to be a matter of seeing who we can keep a hold of and how we can really improve this team in the January market with not a lot of budget at the moment. So that's where we stand for the time being. I'll be back next week with a huge episode, tons of drama coming up after having fought through some of this episode, and I'll be back soon with that episode. But until then, I'm Respect the Jeff, and I'll see you next time.